It's February 2023. Deep in the El Hiba Desert, about 100 miles south of Cairo, Egyptian police spot a suspicious pickup truck idling on a remote hillside. They move in. The men inside the truck don't wait around to answer questions. They sprint into the dark, vanishing into the desert. Left behind in the sand is a heavy, bolted metal grate, locked tight over a hand-dug hole. The authorities cut the lock and descend 2 meters under the earth. At the bottom of the shaft, their flashlights reveal something staggering: a sprawling, fully intact ancient Egyptian tomb. It stretches out into 3 distinct chambers, with hieroglyphics painted floor to ceiling. Finding an unlooted 3-chambered tomb is incredibly rare. For archaeologists, it's a career-defining discovery. In the ruthless criminal world of the Middle East, an untouched site like this represents a sudden, massive influx of untraceable cash. This image captures the devastation left behind by looters at a museum in Iraq. Over the last 2 decades, regional conflicts have weakened border security and local policing, triggering a massive, organized wave of illicit digging. Entire stretches of human history are being systematically ripped from the ground. Organized crime syndicates and terrorist organizations weaponized mass archaeological excavation to finance their operations. They deploy heavy machinery, bulldozers, and ground-penetrating radar to strip mine historical sites, turning ancient artifacts into a primary funding stream. That brings us back to the discovery in Beni Suef. Inside those 3 underground chambers, police cataloged dozens of golden statues piled high in the corners. They found a massive sarcophagus resting in the center, surrounded by elaborate wall murals depicting gods and pharaohs. A haul like this moves through the country quickly. On the international black market, a pristine collection of golden statues and a complete sarcophagus commands tens of millions of dollars. It's why the fleeing suspects were guarding that metal grate so fiercely. Moving millions in stolen artifacts no longer requires shadowy back-alley meetings. Today, the trade operates openly through global social media platforms you use every day. This typical Facebook post shares pseudo-archaeological guides mapping out hidden ancient tombs. Down at the bottom, photos show gold coins and pottery partially buried. Sellers leave items in the dirt to provide buyers with forensic proof the discovery is recent. The sheer volume of this activity is staggering. Researchers tracking these online networks have documented thousands of posts offering looted goods. The sellers even use live streaming features to broadcast real-time footage from newly breached tombs, fielding bids in the comment section. By utilizing features like encrypted messaging and disappearing stories, social media has inadvertently built a highly efficient, frictionless pipeline. A local digger in a remote village can now instantly connect with deep-pocketed international smuggling syndicates halfway across the world. Once an artifact is purchased online, a local middleman moves it across the border into a major where the stolen item is prepared for its journey to the west. To slip past customs, smugglers falsify paperwork, mislabeling a 2,000-year-old relic as simple home decor. In complex operations, they break a large sarcophagus into pieces, ship them to different addresses over several weeks, and reassemble them upon arrival. This image shows the sterile, pristine environment where many of these objects end up. After navigating the globe, violently trafficked history is often purchased by prestigious auction houses, elite galleries, or private collectors who ignore the item's undocumented past. Back in the desert of Beni Suef, to catalog this find before it could vanish into the global pipeline, the Egyptian government dispatched top archaeologists from the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. They arrived to officially evaluate the multi-million-dollar haul. The police were certain they had intercepted a masterclass in global smuggling. They had the secured location, the fleeing suspects, and a tomb full of gold. But as the scientific experts finally stepped into the chamber and began to scrutinize the evidence up close, the entire story completely collapsed. The experts pointed their flashlights at the walls and immediately spotted a glaring anomaly. The hieroglyphics covering the 3 chambers weren't ancient spells or royal lineages. They were complete gibberish. The historical inaccuracies were profound. The creators had clumsily mixed distinct art styles from the Old Kingdom and the New Kingdom in the same mural. it looked as if someone had flipped through a modern children's drawing book and copied the pictures at random. The physical artifacts fared even worse under scrutiny. Those so-called priceless gold statues were just cheap plaster coated in a heavy layer of metallic spray paint, and the massive, imposing sarcophagus resting in the center of the room was molded entirely out of fiberglass. This image shows the bustling stalls of Khan el-Khalili, a famous tourist market in Cairo. The archaeologists confirmed that the smaller relics scattered around the tomb weren't excavated at all. They were just mass-produced souvenirs, bought in bulk from local vendors exactly like these. The fleeing suspects had pulled off a year-long theatrical production. They spent months secretly digging tunnels and building an elaborate movie set under the sand to defraud wealthy antiquities traffickers. When the Egyptian government released the findings, the story went completely viral. On Twitter, the public reaction was highly sympathetic to the suspects. Users actively praised the scammers for their creativity, joking that they deserved an award for successfully conning the criminal underworld. This desert scam is just one data point in a disruptive trend across the black market. The insatiable demand for illicit antiquities is outpacing the supply of real archaeological sites, and that scarcity is triggering a global flood of sophisticated fakes. UK border agents at Heathrow Airport recently intercepted 2 heavy metal trunks arriving from Bahrain. Inside, they found 190 Mesopotamian cuneiform tablets. Cuneiform is one of the oldest forms of writing in human history, created by pressing a reed stylus into damp clay. The border guards thought they had recovered a priceless haul of stolen Middle Eastern history. But when experts from the British Museum examined the shipment, they realized every single tablet had been baked in a modern, high-temperature kiln. The inscriptions weren't ancient language, they were just random, incoherent wedge marks. The historical ignorance of illegal antiquities collectors has ironically created a self-sabotaging economy. Desperate buyers are pouring millions of dollars into unregulated markets, completely blind to what they are actually purchasing. Ultimately, the criminals are now just paying to be robbed by other criminals.